What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Jeff Guy here. Today's video is another film day breakdown between the 3-2 Chicago Bears and the 5-0 Denver Broncos. We are the Broncos. I actually recorded my own gameplay this time, so you get to see it from my POV, which is fantastic. We start out with ball, and today's video I'm really going to focus on the decision making and the play art, because I do want to start breaking out some scheme videos and what I'm thinking about, and this is going to go a long way towards doing that. If you take a look at his team, right, as we start the play off with kind of a cheesy, nice little play for Troy Franklin. You take a look at his team and the abilities he has on the field. He does not have any inside or outside stuffs. I know that immediately from before even loading into the game, and I know that based on his current alignment. Now, if we pause right here, and I recorded this on PlayStation, so you're going to see this. You take a look at the play art, right? He has an X-Factor middle linebacker. He's got Boom, who I hate when people rename players, and especially to something that's not realistic in franchise. He's Boom Boom, that's his username, so I guess it makes sense. He has an ability left end, he has an ability corner, and an ability safety, who I believe is Derwin James. At this point in a franchise, he's not doing enough on the defensive side for abilities. If you look at ours, you know, we have 5 on the defensive line and 2 in the defensive backfield, I believe. Like, you just need to have more to stop different things. So I go in feeling pretty good. And knowing that this is the defense we're facing, the plan is run the ball because he won't be able to stop it in the long term, and force our ability guys open, right? And so it's Devin Culp, that's make Bo Nix make plays, and that's Justin Waters, who will become a more vocal and focal point of our offense now that he has superstar development. So as we take a look, those are the keys to the game for us. Run the ball, be efficient, and let's see how this plays out. You know, you take a look, his user, he's clearly in man coverage as we miss a throw there. Really, really unfortunate, but this drive does continue as we skip ahead a little bit. So same drive, we're still looking forward. I'm going to try to run the ball here and see what happens. We get a good amount of blocking, but there's just too many guys on the outside, and he does have some speed. I looked up, his middle linebacker has 93 speed, and then he's got his safety who has 91 speed playing down. So at this point, I decide, you know, running might not be the best option, especially because our running back only has 85 speed. So even if he gets to the seam, he's not going to be able to break free very far. So this is the point where we decide this is probably going to be more of a passing game, and one where you have to fit the ball into tighter windows, right? We're going to have to make some tough decisions and have to get guys in space. As you take a look here, rolling out, we try to throw this. Oh, I know exactly what happens here. Doinks it off the back of his head. Just turn around, Troy Franklin. That's frustrating. So another 4th down. We've been dinking and dunking our way down the field, and we get to this set. Now, the reads I've made at this point are as follows, right? We talked about already this video that these 2 guys stacked to me might signify zone coverage, right? It's because they're so close together. What are they supposed to be doing, right? Like, is this guy really in man? Maybe. He's kind of far off, but his alignment matches these guys, right? I like that I'm moving myself around now. It helps me, you know, actually point to stuff, right? His alignment matches this guy and this guy. So he's probably in the same coverage as them. And based on, you know, this, I would think this is zone in a vacuum, if I'm just looking at that. But based on this all looks like man, right? We have one guy, and one guy. And I would probably guess that if this is cover 1 or cover 1 man or cover 2 man, that, oh my goodness, I'm moving stuff around. Oh, hold on one second. There we go. That either this guy is covering Devin Culp or is in a deep half, or this guy is covering Devin Culp if that guy is in that deep half, right? So this is my first read, is Devin Culp. He is the one guy, based on this, who will be open quickly and will be open past the first down line. So that's my read 1. My read 2 is Saxton. Now, if Boom, his user, commits instantly to the flat, I still might throw this, right? Because his user might not be there and might not be in the right position. And even if he does commit, I know that this guy's blitzing, right? So I have 1 read, 2 read. Franklin's going to be wide open over the middle if this guy commits to the flat. So we're looking at that. We're looking at this. We're looking at this. Then we're looking at this. Break glass in case of emergency. We can throw it to Waters and try to force him to get, you know, some yards, or we throw it deep to Mims if he really breaks something free. Let's watch this one, see how it plays out. So beautiful. Beautiful, right? It's exactly what we thought it was. It's man coverage. That linebacker comes down. Culp's wide open. Easy. Easy. I've noticed in the past couple games I've had that EA may have nerfed or changed catching. I've had a lot of dropped balls, but Culp did not drop it there. Now, this is where the wheels kind of come off a little bit. As you take a look, we are 3rd and goal from the 22. I did get a, intentional grounding penalty. I didn't want to take a sack. But we are not set up for success here, as it's 3rd and goal. And if you take a look at this coverage, it's, again, very clearly man, right? And let's take a look. I'm going to drag myself over. We've got this triumvirate of defensive backs covering my trio trips on this side, right? My guess is this is man, and I'm going to try to have to make someone beat something, right? And so as we take a look, his defense is going to play perfectly against this, and the result is less than ideal. Now, hindsight being 2020, and knowing that I need to stop running back in the pocket, see very clearly R1 right here, potentially wide open, right? If I pass lead him up here, that's a touchdown. But I don't see it. I don't see it in time, and that's my fault. And I'm running back too far, and I let this happen, and then his user picks off, clicks, runs all the way to the casa. So without even touching the ball, he's up 7-0. Not a good start. And this is another one. Like, I think I started this game so unbelievably poorly. If you take a look, right, this is the very classic zone setup, right? It's so clearly the situation where, you know, we've got Boom and Caver, this is the linebacker, covering the middle here. We've got this guy is in some kind of hook. He's either in a hook or he's in a flat or a cloud. You got this guy playing deep. You got this guy playing deep. This guy playing deep. This guy in some kind of curl, right? And his user is going to be allowed to do a lot within that space. And he's going to rush 4. And if you take a look, you know, we have something that's going to overwhelm. Don't read too much into the play art here. We're going to be able to overwhelm him, right? We have this guy coming here. He'll be able to go this way. Franklin, you don't see his route yet, but he's going to go over here. And then we've got another guy, I think it's Waters or Culp, one of the two, going this way, right? And so if you take a look, we actually get the read that works perfectly, right? This guy turns out to be in man coverage, clearly. He's playing one on square. And then we have R1 coming across, and we've got triangle. And if you take a look, there's only going to be one guy covering, and it's the user, right? And so he comes back to play R1. We should have just seen the user and thrown a triangle, and we throw a terrible play. Terrible play. Bad start. Now, this kid's been super interesting on offense so far. It's 4th and 2, and he's got Saquon Barkley in the backfield. The Eagles traded him to the Lions, who did not re-sign him. I have my own thoughts on that, whatever. He has Saquon Barkley and DeAndre Swift. He's proven that he can run the ball already to this point, and he's got some superstar receivers. So I'm in an interesting spot. My choice here was to defend the run. And you take a look, I've got Baron Browning, who's a linebacker, playing a pass coverage role. I'm fully planning on committing to the run here. And then if you take a look, we've got Will McDonald, superstar, or I think he's an X Factor, actually. We've got, that is DeForest Buckner, who's a superstar. You got Toboare, superstar. And we've got Kayvon Thibodeau, all superstars, all with run stuffing abilities. So we are ready to play this play for the run, and let's see how it goes. We made a simple choice to run a run stuffing defense. We wanted to get there, and he passes the ball. It's brutal. We didn't run commit. But if you take a look, he's running all slants, and everything's going to that side of the field, right? So that is something I store away for later in the game, right? He is going to push stuff to a side of the field. That's his default. But if you take a look at this, he's got a space here in the middle, right, where he might be able to throw something. That's the only thing he's got, because I've got this bagged. This is going to run through another zone. He's not going to have time with this defensive lineman coming in. He's got nothing here, nothing here. Let's take a look at what he just decides to do. He didn't have anything, and that's good defense. It's setting up for the run, knowing it's probably coming with Saquon, but being able to adjust and making a play. Now, I'd like to give myself all the compliments in the world, but we're just not playing well at this point, right? And you take a look, it's exactly same set as we've seen before. It's either cover 2-man or a very basic shell defense. We put a situation together where we got Culp coming across. we've got the angle route, and then we've got something from Troy Franklin just to hold so that we can get Devin Culp coming across here. And if you take a look, he plays it pretty well. We should have made a better play here, right? The most obvious read is circle over here, wide open, no problem. We could throw it to Culp if we wanted, right? You got to worry about this guy. And we could throw it to Saxton, which is what we decided to do. His user is right there, pick 6. So we're down 14-0. So this is the drive where I have to kind of, focus up and, keep, the offensive momentum going, because we are not going to win if we're playing like this. And if you take a look, his user wasn't there. We had a first little seam route, just trying to make a play, trying to get some chunk yards. And keep an eye on that clock. This drive started at like 6:40 or something like that. See how quickly we get things going here. Come out in the exact same set, exact same look. And you take a look, his user again is playing in that I guess I'm going to call it playing the seam. We're going to try to take advantage of that. We throw a pick on this exact play earlier, and we take advantage of him coming down, throw it over the top. Beautiful. 6 minutes left. We're doing great. This is one of those plays that makes having a scheme so important. And especially in the red zone, you need to have predetermined options, or at least you need to know where everyone's going to be. In this situation, we are running an RPO. Obviously, run pass option. So our 2 options are going to be run the ball with Sean Saxton. Punch it in here. That is very doable. It's 3rd and 1. We could either get the first down, go to 4th down, or get a touchdown. All fine options at 4th and 1. Based on the alignment, we could also go to Mims here. Now, Mims is going to be on a little bubble this way. Whoop. And he's going to have blockers in front of him. So all we have to do is read this guy right here. And if he does not commit to Mims, or if he's not covering him, we're throwing it straight to Mims. And if not, we're running it with Saxton, right? And this is the play I come out with 85 to 90% of the time I'm in the red zone, because it sets up everything else in the Patriots mini scheme for me. And if we take a look, we feel good about this alignment. We take the snap. We watch this guy, right? He shaded in. We're going right out. Bang. Easy touchdown. We're back on the board. Now, this becomes a theme throughout the game, is him running a lot of seam routes. And he loves the seams. And you take a look here. I was just a second too slow on that one as Cole Kmet breaks like 2 or 3 tackles and gets the first down. I wonder what he does here. I think he goes for it and doesn't get it. I think I have to get, if I had to guess, I'm just going to guess what happens on this play, right? We're going to audible Thibodeau to go down and blitz. We got a lot that's open here still on. I would guess he goes to DJ Moore here. We take a look, do a perfect, that's perfect coverage. And we actually get a pick, nice. Pat Surtain pick here. And let's go back and watch this play, right? So if we take a look, what do we need to cover with our user? That's always my first question whenever I set up a defense and I'm done setting it up. We take a look, it's 4th down. He throws a lot to the middle of the field. That's what we've been worried about. So I left 2 guys to cover that and can cover it with my user if I need. I'm also covering with Woods here on the backside. Any funny business with DJ Moore doing like a corner or like a zig or something like that. And it's 4th down, right? So all I got to do is cover this, the sticks line, right? So my job as the user, and I Pat Surtain, so I feel pretty good about my ability to do so, is cover, I would say from here all the way to there. This whole box I made with my finger. That's my job. And so if we take a look, rerun this play, I see, he's not in my zone. He's not in my zone. He will be in my zone, but not for a while. This is my biggest threat. I've already diagnosed that, and I am sprinting to go get there and stay in front. I also noticed that this guy stops at the sticks. So now with 1 guy, I need to cover 1, 2, 3, and potentially 4 guys, knowing that Caleb Williams is not getting open here. He's not getting past my D-line. So I plop down. I stand where, I'm covering the most ground, and we get a pick. Very nice. So this is another seam route. So watch Odunze here. He's going to go straight, and that's going to be wide open. The problem is I've got McDonald blitzing. I've got Woods here in a flat. I've got you in a deep third, and I don't remember what I have you in. You're probably in a middle read. If I'm smart, I'm making an adjustment, either putting, what I would probably do is put Woods in man. I would put McDonald on a flat, and I would put Anderson in a hook curl here. And I put all 3 of them in a position to do something a little bit better. But what I do is leave the seam wide open. And we've talked about this. He's hit it, I believe, 2 or 3 times already at this point, and he just gets it again. We can't be doing that. Like, it's okay to give up small plays. Like, it's going to happen. Like, you can't hold everyone to 0 yards. But if an opponent shows a pattern of wanting to do something, you need to take that away from them as soon as possible to make them uncomfortable. And so that was my play here, as I put Surtain right on the slot receiver, and I went right to man coverage, hoping to get a stop here. As we take a look, he just gets a beautiful cutback. Swift breaks a tackle, and he's back marching. Another play, take a look. I'm not super proud of this one, but if you could guess, based on how this video is going, what happened here? What went wrong? And it's that he's going to get a seam route off, right? And there's a couple guys he could run a seam route with on this one. There's actually 4, right? He could run it with Odunze here. He could run it with Cole Kmet. He could run it with DJ Moore, and he can run it with his like created player, whatever. Another misnomed guy I'm not even going to bother naming. We're not set up to cover a seam, right? If you take a look at the gap in these zones, right? The hook curl is covering here. We've got the deep zone. We've got the flat. We've got the other deep zone. What we don't have is a guy right here. And if anything forces this guy out of this, we're toast. Because he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. And he sure is not going to be there, right? So what I think happens here is Swift is going to hold him in some way. And this is 4th and 2, remember, right? This is where we need to be guarding the easiest routes to play. I'm on a user. I user the guy who needs to cover the seam, and I come down for the run. And now what's good is, right, with my user, I am covering the running back, the in-cutting route here, the in-cutting route here, and the in-cutting route potentially here. I'm just not covering the one thing he wants to do, and he takes advantage down to the 1. And I really got to commend him on this play. It's a really, really good one. I call a defense, knowing I need to make a stop, to completely stuff the seam routes, right? You take a look. We've got a guy dropping back in zone here to cover this one. We've got a guy dropping back in zone here to cover this one. And I'm taking my user, and I'm going to play here with the plan to sprint right back here to cover the zone, to cover the seam. Everything else, I'm not worried about. He hasn't really made a read outside of that. Let's take a look at what he does. He catches us so flat-footed here by calling drag routes. He puts drags and slants on the field. Watch my user on this. I am lost. I don't know what to do. My responsibility, it's still zone, is here, is in the middle of the field, and I don't know what to do. I just go cover the drag, and he just throws it right over the defense. Odunze, touchdown. So easy. So we're down 2 scores in the second half. That's almost a death sentence in online franchise, but we got to make a play here. We are going to make some easy reads. We're going to find guys open, and we are going to drift back too far in the pocket. But our offensive line gives us so much time to work with that we find an open guy there. We got to get lucky with that one, right? We were able to come back to the ball. We were able to make a play. We were able to make a throw that should have been inaccurate. And Bo Nix cooks. On to the next play. As you take a look, it's man coverage alignment. He's using the middle linebacker. We're going to try to get some man beating routes on the field. We go to a post with Devin Culp. We go to a drag with Mims. We call hike, take a look, and bang, Justin Waters over the middle. He's got that deep in elite ability. He's going to be open more times than not. And most importantly with this play, right, we force his user off that center line, right? And so the center line is anything in here, right? And it's like, as a real quarterback, you look straight ahead, right? And you see what is in front of you. By forcing this guy to take that drag, this guy's user, whether it's zone or man, is his responsibility is usually going to be the middle of the field. So if you can get him out of there, you can find something open. And that's what we did right here. As we probably, honestly, if we take a look, let's watch Troy Franklin here. He beats the corner. All right, I want to watch that again. Yeah, he beats the corner. We could have thrown that. It may not have been complete. I would have liked to see what would have happened had that throw been made. What I love about this play is that it's a blend of zone and man coverage from him, which is a really, really smart play to do, right? Cover the guys who need man coverage, but trust the rest to cover with zone. The problem is that you only get a little bit, right? And the man guy who gets beat is probably going to get beat because there's not enough zone coverage out there. So if you take a look, man, zone actually, but that looks like man, and man. We have fantastic blocking. We got Quinn Miners one-on-one. We got and 2 double teams. Actually, those are both single teams, but those are our superstars, so we're in good shape, right? The zones are only going to cover so much. So all it is a waiting game, right? And because he only sent 4, we're probably going to have a little bit of time here, right? So I probably could have thrown a triangle here. Probably could have forced that throw. I'd waited. I said I had time. I know I have man beaters on the field. Oh, Justin Waters is like, you know in your heart he's going to be open. Troy Franklin's probably already not an option because it's going to be too tight. This is Saxton, I think. He's probably not an option. There's too much going on. Circle's covered by his user, and Devin Culp's out of the picture. But Justin Waters, oh, it's just wide open. And we feather this high pass in there so perfectly. Oh, that's just good stuff. I love this play. I love what it represents for the game. I think we did such a good job adjusting to his defense and making a read here. So we take a look. We have a 3-on-2. Okay, do you know where that 3-on-2 is? Take a look at the screen right now. It's over here, right? We've got 2 defenders, 1, 2, 3 receivers. Now this guy is going away, but there's a long stretch of field where we could throw it to him. So it's a 3-on-2. We've also got his user over here. And his user over here, it's been, one of these guys all game, means that this side of the field is going to act relatively normally, right? Not going to be any anomalies with user play. So we've got 2 guys here just designed to keep the user busy. And we've got 3 guys who are going to make some plays over here. Let's watch how this one plays out because I think it's really interesting to see how I approach it. Bang. This is the decision point because his user, feel free to go rewatch that, has already looped once. He has gone from covering triangle to committing to X. And I made the same mistake on his touchdown play in that I just misidentified the bigger threat. Square is the biggest threat here, not only as a receiver, but as a blocker, because we kept circle here. And if you take a look, right, you take a look at everything we got, he's a potential downfield blocker. He's a potential downfield blocker. We're going to check down and be smart. Bang. We didn't get the second block, but we do get the first down, and we get to stop the clock. I thought that was a masterfully drawn up play, and one that, sneaky, we called a bubble route, but it got 11 yards. We'd love to see that. So this drive is the inflection point of basically the entire game, right? So we've got 3 minutes left. He's got 2nd and 9. He can get to the 2-minute warning by just running the ball and start forcing us to use our timeouts or give us the ball back, whatever. He needs to make a play here. Our only job is to prevent a first down. The second job is take the ball away. Third is do not give up a score by any means necessary. He does a great job taking a check down to Saquon, forcing us into this 3rd and 6. And now the beautiful thing is we come out and cover 6. So we got, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we got a cloud flat out there. It's fine. Rushing 4, very basic coverage. But what I love about this one is it prevents first downs, right? We have this cloud flat is sitting right here on this sticks line. He is guarding these 2 guys. We've got this 3-rec hook, the middle read, right? Or it's not a middle read, but whatever. He's going to cover Komet unless he runs to a seam, but we're covering the seam with the over-the-top guy. So all he has to do is hold him for like a second or 2 and we're good. Sorry, I dropped myself. The cloud flat should cover anything over here. We are vulnerable to like a deep post here. Oh my goodness. A deep post here. But I believe our pass rush should get home, so I'm okay with that. And then we are protected deep by anything there. Our job solely is to cover anything that this guy can't get to. So that's a drag, that's a slant, that's anything coming across here. And that's what we do, which is really, really nice. This is a big, big play. You see he runs the slant, tries to test our user, and he's moving upfield too. That might have been, it's either a playmaker or like a delayed, like little whoop route, but we get the pick. We read that perfectly. We are back on the ball. You take a look, all we're trying to do, based on either man or zone coverage, looks like man here, based on the way the corners are playing, find ways to get guys open. Devin Culp gets open there. Big catch. I love it. Our stats are awful this game, but if you take a look, I love at what this play does, right? We have another 3-guy triangle offense here, and it's more of a football play. But we ran this zig, which is going to hold this zone defender. We ran this circle, which is going to take this guy out. It's fine. We ran a wheel, which takes out the deep defender, and as long as his user's not with triangle, he's wide open. Bang. Little lob pass. Doesn't get better than that. So now we're at a point where we need to balance chewing clock a little bit because we feel like we're in scoring range and actually scoring the ball. We take a look, another man concept. We probably had 3 or 4 different guys open. We get Waters on the zig route and we actually go down to chew more clock. We go right on to chew clock because we're in that situation, and we go right. We should go right to our red zone offense. I guess we don't. I decide to run the ball once because the way this league's rules work is you get there's like a play cooldown, so you can't run the same play over and over again. So you need to do a better job of scripting your final plays to make sure you have all of them. So you take a look. I go into like the tight off flex option, and then I'm going to let the clock run down here and take a timeout and then run our offense, right? So we go over to trips tight end, and we go right to our first read, which is the RPO alert bubble. And if you take a look, he is playing this much better than he did last time. So we audible down to the run. And the reason we audible to the run here is because it's the whatchamacallit, the play cooldown thing. We can only run that bubble once. So we need to be careful about when we do it. I'd rather run the ball the first time. And if we don't get in, we have that as a backup versus using that option early on. You take a look, we probably had so many different things here, but I wanted to run, and even if we failed, we got 2 extra timeouts, so we're not worried about it, but we do get right in, and we take the lead late in the game. He comes out in a play, and this is where you love to see the adjustments. You really do, because I was fully ready. Sorry, I spoiled the play. I'm bad at this stuff. We're getting there. What I love is that we have been guarding against the slants, or so the over the middle stuff all game. And we are ready for it finally. It's 10 seconds left in the game. We know it's coming. He's going over the middle of the field. He's going to try to make a play. Our first read is take away the one he loves. It's either this guy or it's this guy getting the ball. It's one of the two of them. And we decide we're going to cover one till he's not a problem and then switch to the other. One of them, the other guy, I recognize that route immediately as an in-breaking tight end route, right? Because oh my goodness, he did, over here, he did whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, no, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I saw that out of the corner of my eye. I said, sprint to the other side of the field, take that away, and go right in for a game-ending pick 6. He quits, not a GG. It's over. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.